GIWUSA President Mametlwe Sebei joins me via Zoom. A very good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Just take me through the reasons for wanting to meet with the Minister's office.
Well, we are in a process of, we are on a strike that is on a second month. And the problems with Clover at the moment, since it was taken over by an Israeli-based, Milko company, there has been a restructuring that has resulted in factory closures and job losses amounting to about 2,000 in our calculation. Now, we do think that it has the responsibility to protect the jobs because this is a platform on which it was elected. And we do think that in this situation, what is required is for government to nationalize and expropriate Clover under a democratic control and management by the workers so that we can defend jobs, so that we can retain factories that are threatened, so that we can retain the industrial capacity of the country and to create more jobs in future.
Talk to us about, did that meeting happen and what happened in that meeting?
So we met with the Deputy Director General of the Competition Policy within the Department of Trade and Industry. And we obviously in detail presented the situation. And by this we mean brutal restructuring that is going on there, because in addition to job losses that are spoken about, there is also intensified exploitation of workers. They've reduced the amount of assistance for drivers from 2 to 1, meaning a driver will be driving for about 8 hours. In addition to that, loading off the stock at retailers and merchandise. So this is a problem. And of course, they want to impose a compulsory work during holiday. As me and you will be enjoying festivity during December, none of these workers will be entitled. And of course, we think this is an importation of the model of business of Milko, which is carrying out a brutal exploitation of workers, the Palestinian workers in occupied territories, that under a cruel and a brutal colonial military occupation of Israel, which is displacing workers and their communities from their land.
All right. So 2 questions in one. Government cannot be expected, surely, to go to every company that is not abiding by labour laws, it sounds like, or that is pressing too hard on their workers. They cannot do that in every private company, one. Why is that the go-to? And what is Clover saying in response to the very heavy allegations that you are levying against them?
Secondly, there's a case here, right? Remember, this company applied to take over Clover in 2019, or since 2018, and the matter was decided in 2019, which we vigorously opposed at the time. Milko and Clover, they blatantly lied at the time that not only are they not going to, close factories and, job losses, but actually that they will be creating about 500 jobs. That was in 2019. We are in December 2021. As I said, about 2,000 workers have lost their jobs. They are closing all the factories inland, consolidating 2, factories on the coast in Port Elizabeth and in Queenstown. Now, what that shows you is that you are having here a criminal industrial vandalism of South Africa's biggest product manufacturers, so that it can be reduced to a distribution centers for an Israeli imported, Israeli manufactured imports. Now, at the expense of the workers here, at the expense of communities, and of course, we are saying that this government was elected on a mandate to create jobs, and we are calling on this government to carry out nationalization of Clover in defense of the jobs, in defense of the industrial capacity of this country. Because one of the problems that has been happening is a deindustrialization of our economy. And when you are going to be destroying one of the biggest employers in the food manufacturing sector like this without government intervention, you are, of course, aggravating a problem of mass unemployment. Remember, we're already having 12.5 million people who are unemployed in this country and have no prospects of finding any jobs anytime soon. So we think that this is that case where government has to say, you promised to create jobs, you failed, you've broken your conditions, and therefore, this is a case for expropriation in the interest of defending jobs.
I'd be interested to hear the legal pros and cons of that, because we mostly hear about expropriation when it comes to land, not so much companies. But that's all we have time for now. GIWUSA President Mametlwe Sebei joining me via Zoom there. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News.